been 5 years since I hit create on my channel. From my Roblox gaming videos to my newer Country Ball animations, what a journey it's been, everyone. Here today, we're celebrating this milestone by looking back at the highs, the challenges, and the incredible moments that shaped my channel. Whether you've been here from the start or just joined, thank you for being a part of this journey. Let's dive in and relive these amazing 5 years. On December 4th, I started this channel. It was a gaming channel focused on Roblox games. Mr. Turkeyman, now Bob the Hobo, and Tool Treat, who's now a short show, as well as Mint and a Half, were all some of my friends that kind of helped me start this journey, and some of them still do. A few months after I made my channel, on May 5th in 2020, I uploaded my first video though. It was a video titled Roblox Generations Hobby, and I was just playing an hobby. There was no real audio or anything, no editing, it was just a recording. On that day, I uploaded a few other videos as well, because it was kind of fun, so I just kept going at it and uploading a bunch of other videos like that. I'm pretty sure I uploaded a suit art video as well, and part 2 of the hobby. After that, though, I would still upload, probably about every 2 weeks I'd upload some videos. They got better as time went. On one of them, I even think I was actually talking, and you could actually see my 9-year-old self. But there was a video that I uploaded that sparked something that I didn't know I had, and it was the Clonian Hub first episode of a 6-part series where I did some editing on my Roblox character and in my alt account as they were like friends going on adventures. The first episode was just me just flying around in some game I don't even remember the name of, on April 24th in 2021. But as time went, I added captions, I did some editing, and it kind of set off some views, but more importantly, it started a new passion, not just for Roblox, but for editing and animation, actually. But animation didn't come for a while. I would play this game called Theme Park Tycoon 2 and build roller coasters. I'd also play in Roblox Studio, but I started a 4-part series after that, a Doomspire Brick Battle series where it was high quality. Well, when I say high quality, it was a lot better than my older videos of me playing Doomspire Brick Battle, like these 5-10 minute videos, and that is when I took a break. I took a break from everything, pretty much, and for 9 months, I was off. I didn't do anything, but those 9 months were significant because after that is when I started my first mapping video. It was called the Average Rise of Nations game, and if you don't know, Rise of Nations is a game on Roblox where you pick a country and you manage their economy and military and you try to conquer the world. But I simulated that in a game called Nations Roleplay, where you have a paint bucket and you can paint the world map. So, I uploaded that video, and then I uploaded another video similar to it in the same game called What If Sweden Formed an Empire. That got a total of a whopping 9 views, but that's when I started liking geography. Well, I started liking geography before that, in about 2021, 2022, but that's when I made my first video on it. But after that, I uploaded a video called SovietUnion.exe, where I tried to make an edit on the Soviet Union by like showing their territories in Nations Roleplay. But after that, my channel was called Clonian Gaming and Mapping, because I was uploading these mapping videos as well as gaming videos. Before that, it was just titled Clone Gaming, because that's all I did. But after that video, I uploaded a 20-second long video called Short Memes, where I would incorporate like some history memes and some other memes, like 10 memes total, I think, I'm not sure. But I made that in a game called Car Crushers 2, which was a pretty fun game. I liked it at the time. Kind of still do like it now. I don't play it as much. But after this is when I really started with everything. A video after that was called Rome.exe, similar to the Soviet Union. But the video after that is a turning point in my channel. And that's when I first used country balls in the video. It's called History of Clonian with Country Balls. Now, later in this video, I'll explain the entire Clonian lore, and it's going to be a lot. So, I'll give you a quick briefing. So, Colonia is a fictional country made up in North America by the New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Maine area, and Quebec. But I gave a short, now it's outdated, but I gave a short, brief history of it, and then I got 20 views, so that was actually a good video at that time. But the animation was absolute crap. I had no animation skills. I am self-taught, probably like most. But after that, I kind of got set off, and I made a video called Making Random Empires, a comic called Just a Special Operation, and then many other videos after that, where I'm gonna highlight how to speedrun and how to spread freedom, which were both big videos at the time. I also made another mini Clonian Hub series as kind of a tribute to the old one. It was a lot better edited, thanks to my Doomspire Brick Battle videos and that experience. But that was kind of starting the transition out of everything. And by now, all those Country Ball videos, they were uploaded about a year ago. And everything was about a year ago from this point. In November, October, and now we're getting into December. Before I continue anything else, though, part of what started my Country Ball journey is two people I want to highlight. French Animations, who I think we're still good friends. We still chat sometimes. And then the other one is Goldie XD, who I believe she's offline now. She hasn't been online in about 6 months, so I don't know what's happening. But they kind of got me into the community, got me inspired to make my own videos. But now I will continue after that. So, it's Christmas time, and I decide I want to do something special for Christmas. So, for about a month, I work on a video, kind of like how I'm working on this video. Actually, it's kind of ironic. But it's called Clone & Hub, the Holiday Movie. So, in that, I have Clone & Hub from the old series, in a very, very high quality 9.5 minute video of editing. It took a lot, and go watch that, please. I don't even know how I made it. I'm just shocked with myself. But then after this, was another significant turning moment, as if that wasn't, called Historical Meta. So, it was a Country Balls comic that I drew it instead of using Canva and its elements to make pre-made ones. I drew them in a comic. And that set off my channel. I just started getting so many subscribers. But at the same time, I'm still cloning, gaming, and mapping. That doesn't come till like April, where I change. So I upload this 6-part series of me playing Roblox games, and I call it the Roblox Experience, where I'd edit these videos of me playing Roblox games. No audio, just a bunch of closed captions and memes and stupid puns. And to highlight what I'd done that year, although it'd been hard since I took a 9-month break, I made a best of CGNM 1000 video. CGNM is Clonian Gaming and Mapping. And then after this, all that, I made animations. My first ever animation, alternate future of a divided Clonia. A 50-second video at 1 FPS. It was a mapping video I made in Flipperclip, where pretty much Clonia divides up into its territories and they fight. Yeah, it was not good. But after that, I made a Meet the Balkans animation, kind of inspired off some other people who did the same thing. Like, I carry a ball I can think of immediately, but it was also kind of original. So, I uploaded that. It was a country ball animation, as I said, and the Balkans are a region in Europe that I hope you know, with like Serbia and Bulgaria. But anyways, after that, remember that person, French Animations, I was talking about? Well, I made a subscriber special for him. He had reached 50 subscribers. I believe he's at like 70 something now. So I made a quick little animation. But after this, my animations were only getting better. As expected, but I went from like 2 FPS to probably 8 FPS. I made a Russia meme, Glory to Moscow, where it's the Moscow, that song. And then a very significant turning point, the Roblox Just Daytona experience was my last Roblox video that the Roblox Strongest Battleground video was the last video I uploaded on Roblox 6 months ago. It was a collaboration with French Animations, and it was about 10 minutes long. Right before that, I uploaded the Chicken Nugget song, which was also a 2-minute and 53-second video on 4 FPS. It's great. You should go watch it. But before that video, and also after that video, are my 2 most popular videos. Before, it's the Away Down South in the Land of the Traitors video, with the Union and the Confederacy. But our continent is called Europe, currently stands at 412 views. It was uploaded 5 months ago, and it is currently the most popular video on my channel that is not a YouTube short. But after this is when I started, that was kind of like my turning point into my modern era. So, it's been 5 years on YouTube, and this is how far I've come. But I'm not over, that was not an outro. I won't highlight the rest of my videos, but I also started my alternate future, my US State Slander, and I tried to start a collab that did not go well. But now I am to where I am currently. That is my journey of how I got there. I uploaded some YouTube shorts at the time. One being When the Skeppy Can Sing. Skeppy is a Minecraft YouTuber. I was obsessed with him like 3 years ago, and now that video has 10,000 views. I'm kind of disappointed in myself, but yeah. And kind of to close, but there are some very important people I want to highlight as well that I found in the recent months, and they found me. Glitcher Over, Francia, Spanish Empire Animation, Aussie Chinese Ball, Bill from Idaho, and many others. There's so many people. I feel bad because it's hard to keep track of sometimes. And I'm going to go over some analytics, but in May this year, 2024, I had 50 subscribers. About 4 years, I got a total of 50 subscribers. We're about, I don't know, 8 months later, and I have 336. In August alone, I had 100 subscribers. It's just amazing how much you guys have supported me, and I appreciate it so much. But now, I'm going to explain the entirety of the Clonian lore. I expect this to be longer than the first part. The first part of this video was on a script. I'm going to start off script, and I'm probably going to regret this. But I will proceed to explain the entire lore of Clonian. So, quick recap, Clonia is kind of the namesake of my channel. It's what I upload videos about, and also real-life scenarios. And I have never really explained it to anyone. I kind of explained it to Francia, but that was only a small part. So, time to start from the very beginning. Some basics. Colonia is a country in North America in the Quebec, Maine, New Brunswick area, Canada, and the United States. And it is an alternate history scenario that I thought of when I was playing a Roblox game. But I'm just going to start from the very beginning. So, there's nothing. There's nothing in the universe. A universe doesn't exist. There's nothing. There's only something, but that's nothing. And then we have stuff. Sorry, this is very bad. Fast forward a long time, and we have a people. We have a planet. Not this planet, different planet. Far away from this planet. They are called the Clons, Clons. And they settle on this planet, and they live there for a very long time. But they also realize that they can travel to other planets and colonize the universe. So that's exactly what they do. They set off, and they go. So they land on Mars, fast forward, and they see Earth in all its beauty. And they want to go there. So, but they can't. There is an invisible force that prevents them from going there. And they don't know what it is. Nobody actually knows what this force is. But they decide to stay on Mars and around the area. So they move everyone from their original home planet somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy. And every night they just stare at the planet. Little do they know, they are not the only ones in this universe. There are other people that exist, and they don't like them. Nobody likes anyone. No one's friends with anyone, except the people are friends with themselves. They can only depend on each other. So, they get invaded by another group of people. And they are forced to flee. And their civilization on Mars is destroyed. In fact, everything is destroyed. This is the Great Galactic War, where everything is destroyed. Every people. Except for one capsule. There's one spaceship left with 12 people on it. And their power goes out. They are left floating in space until Earth's gravitational force breaks through the other invisible force surrounding it and pulls that ship into the North Sea. By this time, we're in about 15,000 BC. And they make a settlement in the United Kingdom, specifically the England and Wales area. And they are just themselves. There's nothing else for them to rely on. There are 5 years of just weeping because their civilization with almost 2 billion people on it is destroyed. And that's just one of the civilizations. But they establish Cloneth, Cloneth, and they get a prophecy from the sky saying there is a land out there where you can live in peace with your people. They call it the Holy Land, or Topa Tapa. So they set off on their journey east. They travel through Europe. They travel through Russia by the Volga. Wait, stop. There is a disagreement. At this point, there's about 400 to 600 people. I'm fast forwarding a lot, but it will slow down. And some people think they found the Holy Land down in like the Caucasia region. Others don't. So they split. And they continue going east some, and until they reach the North Korean area where everyone thinks they found everything. So they settle there and they expand. They capture the Sea of Okhotsk and the Kamchatka area. And by the way, the Bering Strait is still frozen, so they can see North America, but they don't go yet. So when they realize that this is not the Holy Land, and they realize it because their entire city sunk into the ground, and they continue moving east, but they have to go north to go east. So they go through Alaska, they go through Canada, and they land in modern Quebec City, where they establish the city of Lawrence. And Lawrence, who is a key figure in Clonian history, has been leading through a line of descendants for about 600 years from England now to North America. His ancestors and him have been leading, so they established Lawrence City, where what they think is going to be the Holy Land. They're wrong. The Holy Land is not far from them. It is in New Brunswick, right on the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Here's a map to show. But, so, they realize that, and half their city is destroyed. So far, Clonian history has been very devastating, and it's hard for anyone to find hope. So some people just wander into the wilderness of Quebec and just go missing. So, after that, they find the Holy Land, Topatapa, and they proclaim it the capital of the world. But they establish a settlement there. It is a permanent settlement, and it is the modern capital of Colombia today. But fast forward a few decades, and there are some people who don't like the government. They don't like Lawrence being the king and having him in charge of everyone and everything. So, the Colonia splits in two. This is called the Lawrence Brothers Disagreement, where James Lawrence is leading Cloneth, the United Territories of Cloneth, by the St. Lawrence River in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and Edward Lawrence is leading what he calls the Fundix in Fundy, which is in Nova Scotia. So they proclaim their capital city, called Cryopa, Kryopa, in modern-day Halifax, capital of Nova Scotia. But both countries or civilizations decide they want to expand. There's no one else here. So they expand west and south. And some people travel to Virginia from Fundy, and some people travel to Boston, and they make little settlements there. While the people of Cloneth travel west by the Great Lakes. And that is when there are more people who want to just expand, be nomadic, and stay there wandering forever. While Cloneth is a permanent settlement that just wants territory to expand. So the Slavons established the Kingdom of Slava in the Great Lakes where they can move around peacefully. And by now, it's about 80-70. And this is when the Cloneth-Slava War happens, where Cloneth invades Slava and takes Lake Ontario. They don't take too much, but the most important thing they do is they kill their king. Yeah, not good. They hate each other now. Everyone hates each other, actually, except for Slava and Fundy. Remember that group in Quebec that I was talking about? Yeah, they do the same thing Slava does. And they established the Kingdom of Andava in Quebec, where they can move around there and be cold. So, now we have 4 different Clonian civilizations. But And now we have the 700 years of reforming Clonia, making the government better in all the countries, and just developing an economy and everything. So they're pretty advanced by now, as if they weren't before. So now what happens? Well, Civil War. An idea of a republic led by people, not by one person, is sparked in Clonith, and they have a civil war between the RKOC, the representative kingdom of Clonia, and the UTC, the United Territories of Clonith. Eventually, though, the RKOC wins and breaks off in the west, which is by the Vermont and New Hampshire area. But they also have a secret goal behind them, to unite the Clonian people, which is ironic because they just split off from Clonith. But they decide to propose this to Slava, who hates Clonith, and they're like, we can be stronger together and defeat them. So Slava accepts and they unify. They do the same thing with Ndava, and they accept. So now a giant war happens. This is called the War of the True Clonians, where Clonith and Fundi, which during the 700 years were fighting little battles with each other because they hated each other, they form a coalition and they fight. The RKOC versus Clonith and Fundi. So, in the end, Clonith and Fundi, they lose. So, what happens? The proclamation of the First Clonithian Empire, which is absolutely massive. It takes up the entire province of Quebec, except for that little northern tip, Newfoundland and Labrador, except for, actually, with the eastern part. It extends all the way down to Virginia and even parts of North Carolina, all the way west to Wisconsin, and to some parts of central Ontario and northwestern Ontario. So they are finally unified, and they actually like being unified. They hadn't been unified since their journeys with James Lawrence and his ancestors. Remember those people that stopped in the Caucasian region? Well, they become Georgia. Yeah, that's a cool little fact. And then there were a few people who stayed behind in North Korea. They all die off except a few which flee to Bangladesh. So, that's what's happening with them, and they kind of get incorporated into the other tribal people that were living there, and they're kind of wiped off the map. So, now, we have, we're tying in some colonialism with this. So, Great Britain and France have been alerted that there is another part of the world after Spain discovers Hispaniola and Cuba and Puerto Rico and the New World in 1492. So, more dates. The Clonifian Empire was established in the early 15th century. So, they have been thriving for almost 100 years. Actually, 200 years at this point, because it's about 1600 when, in 1607, the Jamestown colony is established. No, is that 1621? Either one. But the French have landed in modern Nova Scotia, or Fundy, and they call it Acadia. But they've taken it by force, and Clonifia collapses. The first Clonifian Empire, it collapses, and is split up very similarly to how it did in real life, except there is a little Clonian area that includes Fundy, New Brunswick, and parts of southern Quebec. very small and diminished compared to what they were. But everything else is how real life went. In the American War for Independence in 1776 to 1783, the Clonians joined. They helped them, but they are not given independence until a few years later, where they revolt and burn down pretty much every city they can find in British Canada. So, yeah, that wasn't too smart for the British to play, but now the Republic of Colonia has been declared, and it is those same territories. Fast forward some time, and we are at the American Civil War. But before that, there have been tensions with some people in Maine and Boston, that area, who are Clonians, because Clonians make up the majority, not minority, the majority of the New England population. So when the American Civil War happens, although they do not agree with any ideals of the Confederacy, except for the part that they hate America, the Republic of Colonia joins and fights. They fight British Canada and the United States and win. They win. So, now we have the modern territories of Colonia, which I'll show on a map right here. So, that is what Colonia looks like, and the territories are established, but in a strange way. So, New England is the same, mostly. It's part of Codia. Yeah, Codia is a giant territory that includes modern Codia and New England. So, and then there is the territory of Vendava, which will get renamed to Lawrence in 1904. So, and then there's Fundy. Fundy is divided into north and south on the peninsula. And the Northerns have claim to what is now known as Prince Edward Island, or the Isle of the Carracks in Clonian lore. So, but guess what? Codia also claims it. So, there is another rivalry. It's roots from the old rivalry between Clonic and Fundy, but they argue and they fight over it, and they almost go to war, but the government comes in to kind of ease that. So what happens is the TTCA is established, the Topatapa capital area is established, and it annexes, well, it doesn't annex, it adds the Isle de Carracks to its territory to kind of settle this. But in 2024, a significant event happens, which I actually uploaded on my channel, called Keratin the New Territory, which is based off the town of Charlottetown, which is a real-life city in Prince Edward Island. Anyways, but where was I? Oh yes, World War I. Colonia is completely neutral. They have no business in this, except the fact that, remember those people from the Caucasia who are in Georgia? Well, they become the Bolsheviks. Yeah. Joseph Stalin was one of them. So they overthrow the Russian Empire. And things are not looking good because Colonia knows about this, that they are descended from them, so they don't want to release this and show they are affiliated with them in any way. So, interwar time, Colonia is actually thriving. They're thriving. They are one of the top 10 economies in the world, placed at number 7. But America's Great Depression and the world's Great Depression, it affects everyone, especially Colonia, since they're so close. So, instead of calling it the Great Depression, they call it a time of weeping and mourning. Because not only was there no food, there was negative food. They were heavily in debt they had so many debts to owe to everyone. Kind of like how East Germany became poor, and Greece has a lot of debt, kind of like that. So, it's time for World War II. Colonia has rebuilt slightly. They've gotten rid of their debt, which is huge, but they don't have an economy. They're one of the lowest economies. But they joined World War II because a fascist movement takes place with Andava, which has been named to the territory of Lawrence. But some people there, they like their nomadic area, which they can still move around, but they're using it as an excuse to revolt. And another group, the Holy People of Lawrence, is trying to do what Germany did, but with Clonians instead of Germans. And if you know, don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but if you know, you know. So, they revolt. Clonia fights them in a brutal war. Clonia is on the Allies, if you couldn't tell. And this just helps them get aligned with America again, so they're chill now. But at this point, Fundy has been independent since World War One. So, actually, Fundy has been independent since after the Civil War, and their claims to Keratin, the modern territory, have been international instead of national, so that's why that was so significant. But yeah, since about like 1875, roughly, I hope I got those dates right, to now, in about 1963 is when they get annexed by Colonia, and now they have their modern borders. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But, here's the thing. So, when they get annexed, they create their own alliance. A semi-neutral alliance that's kind of meant to help people of the world rebuild their government, and which Colonia needs as well. But also it's kind of an excuse to stay out of the Cold War, which is very heated at this time. It's at its peak. So, in this alliance, the TTDP, the Toba Defense Pact, includes Colonia, Denmark, Spain, Mexico, and Portugal, and Ireland. So, those countries, the European ones are also in NATO, which Colonia doesn't like because they could get wrapped in, but they're also aligned with NATO if a Cold War were to break out. But they like to stay neutral, like Finland and Switzerland. So, it's time for the modern era and to wrap things up. So, it's the 21st century now, and the Soviet Union has collapsed, and Colonia has disbanded the TTDP and has fully been integrated into NATO, as they see Russia will be less of a threat if NATO is stronger, as well as China, North Korea, and Iran, and all those people. So, what do I have to close? Keratin becomes a territory officially instead of being held onto by the TTCA. And more to closing thoughts. Thank you for staying with me if you're still here. This lecture, I know it's long, but I've been wanting to do this for so long. And I just needed to tell somebody so I wouldn't forget it. So, those are my closing thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day.